So this is the hormone roller coaster in perimenopause. And so what I was talking about is, so you can see in the fertility, so in puberty, our estrogen and our progesterone ramp up. And then in the fertility years, they track along. And there's always a little bit more estrogen to progesterone. So I think this might be one of the reasons why progesterone's always been overlooked in the medical model, is because they see that estrogen is the most dominant hormone. But also estrogen dominance has been overlooked because estrogen is always dominant. But there's a difference between healthy estrogen dominance, i.e., what it should be, and absolute freefall. And what happens in perimenopause, but as I've alluded to, much earlier in women's lives because of the lifestyle that is, we're having to live in, the kind of foods that people are eating, the stressful experiences they're having. What happens in perimenopause and because of this stress is our progesterone literally starts to fall off a cliff. So in perimenopause, this is where all the problems start happening. It's this lack of progesterone to the same amount of estrogen. Estrogen doesn't change for a really long time. So you could be in perimenopause for 10 years, and then you can go through the menopause transition. Now, that menopause transition is how long it takes you to miss 12 bleeds. But that for some women, I mean, I got to 364 days and then got back to square one. So I'm technically going to have been in the menopause transition probably a decade. So for some women, that could be 5 years, it could be 6 years, the menopausal transition. And you're only post menopause once you've gone through that 12 months of no bleed. But so the menopause is when medically they focus on the fluctuating hormones. But even then, you can see that going in with some estrogen therapy can be catastrophic at some points when estrogen's going crazy high. So this is where, again, bringing this lens of, oh, wow, yeah, okay, progesterone's really dropping off. How can we help that situation? What can we do about it? And understanding that that's definitely going to be one of the issues in libido.
So when we're looking at libido, I think this is quite a nice explanation of why some women who go through perimenopause feel really, really sexual, because estrogen does contribute to our sex drive. And some women don't have that response. And because the progesterone is missing, they don't feel sexy at all, because progesterone is our calming hormone, which is going to be our parasympathetic nervous system, which is where sex drive sits. So what we can do as coaches is educate by understanding what's happening in the body. And when we come to looking at the triangle, like the sex hormones, yes, are going crazy during perimenopause, but there's so much that we can be doing with the stress picture and with the blood sugars picture. And I hear time and time again women who are controlling carbohydrates, have a low carbohydrate diet, so that the blood sugar piece is stabilized, having a much, much easier time in menopause. And if you're having an easier time in menopause, then you are more likely to keep your sex drive.